Hello, my name is Cindy, and today we're going to talk about some terms that have to do with banking. Now, in my math curriculum, usually we deal with general computation skills, but there is a section on banking. And as you know, this is a very real section. And I'm going to discuss some terms for beginners. I have found that in this section of my curriculum for the one whole year math curriculum where we do, fractions, decimals, percents, and we have one section on banking. This tends to be the hardest section for young children. I teach usually about fifth or sixth grade and up, and the banking section is junior high and ninth graders typically. And as you get to high school, you might do a whole course in consumer math or accounting. But this would be for just a general introduction to banking. It tends to be one of the hardest sections for students because they don't do a lot of banking yet. And some of these terms are brand new, but they are very important. And so I would like to introduce these terms to you today. And hopefully this will be a helpful video for anyone who is doing banking with their students. So today we're going to talk about some general terms, starting at the very beginning. The first thing you're going to do when you are talking about banking is you are going to discuss income. That's what we all want. We all want an income. So this would be anything, money that you make while you are working. And you can make an income in different ways, but it all turns out to be money, right? Nowadays, we can actually have our income automatically deposited into our bank account. We might have our income given to us as a check. We might have it deposited to our bank account. We might get cash. And so there are different ways that we can get income, but that would be any amount of money that we are going to receive for a job that we do. When you are working, you will have an employer, okay? An employer is the person who asks you to work for them and they are going to pay you. And when you have an employer, you are called an employee. So you are the person working for the employer. Now, you can get an income as an annual income, and usually that will be as a salary, and you will have an annual salary that will be specified. You get this amount in a salary, and then you will have an income from this salary. Usually they'll break it up either weekly, monthly, sometimes bi-weekly. And usually young people who are starting out working aren't going to get a salary type job, but usually that's something that we would aspire to. And that's something that we would like to have, a job that has a salary, and there are different benefits that come along with that. You can also work a job that would have pay you on an hourly basis, meaning you are going to get a certain amount of pay per hour. You might have a piecework job where you get paid by the job. Maybe you're working at a factory, you get paid by how many things you're going to make. Maybe you're going to be paid by some type of job that you're going to do. This would be piecework, so you're going to get paid this amount to do this amount of work. The amount of money that you get paid is called wages, okay? What are your wages? That would be, I make $30,000 a year. That's your wages. That's your pay. Anything that you get in your check, that's called wages. You can also get money by commission. Now, commission, we all know real estate. That is one type of job that would get paid by commission. Depending on how much the house sells for, you get a certain percentage of that sale. Commission might be people who sell cars. Usually commission is for salespeople. Sometimes people that work are given a certain hourly wage, and then over and above, they get a commission. Sometimes they're given a salary, and it might be a lower salary because the commission that of the amount of whatever you do will get added into that. Say furniture, if you work at a furniture store, they might pay you a certain amount per year, and then you get a percentage of your sales. This type of pay would be an incentive for the person to sell more. And it's also, usually people who sell by commission, if you're a really good salesperson, you're going to make a lot of money. If you don't work hard at it, you'll get paid less. So it's an incentive to work harder and to reward you for your hard work. Sometimes people who are given an annual salary might feel like, no matter how hard I work, I get the same amount of pay. But that would be based on a lot of different things, maybe your education, maybe your experience that you've had before, that type of thing. But commission would be based on how hard you work and how much you do for the company. Okay, and then you might get tips. You know that when you go to a restaurant, you put money on the table or you add a little bit of money to the check for the waitress or waiter, and that would be tips. So that can be over and above your hourly wage that you give for a service, okay? And that would be tips. Now, gross pay is the amount of money that you will get before we subtract taxes or any other fees that your employer has already specified, So there are different things. There's federal income tax, there's maybe health insurance, things like that. So gross pay would be before you subtract anything from your paycheck, gross pay. And then there's also net pay. Now, net pay would be any amount of money that you get at the end of all of the deductions. So that would be what you take home to work with. So that would be the amount of money that you will have to create your own budget at whatever, for the year or for the week, whatever. That's the amount of money that you have to work with, net pay. So if you have a job and you say you get $15 an hour, oh yeah, I get $15 an hour, then you end up getting your check and you realize it's a lot less than $15 an hour. That's because they've taken out some money for taxes. And the amount of money they take out of your check will be based upon the deductions that you have claimed. And we'll talk about that in the next video. So these are the words that we're just starting out as introduction to the banking section. So this is banking video 1. And I know that today the banking system is changing. We have a lot of different things that are brand new to our banking world, and I like the idea of having money direct deposited into my bank. That kind of is really nice. And so that has changed things, that we can just have a weekly paycheck put right into our bank account. We can also do a lot of banking online. We can add and subtract to our banking account. We have digital ways to pay people. You've heard about the Venmo or PayPal, things like that. So that's kind of nice. Those things are nice, but we also need to be careful that we don't spend more than we actually make. And that would be easy today because we have credit cards and all these different cards. It's easy to spend money and without realizing it. So it's good to keep track of your money and to really work on this skill of banking before it comes to a reality. So make sure you review these terms and be familiar with them, and I will see you in the next video.